So you're in Washington, D.C. now. You and your family, those of you who are not, in Saudi Arabia, live in exile in Canada, including your father, including your brother. What are you doing in Washington, D.C.? And can you tell us a bit of what your father hinted at? He's trying to get this administration, the Biden administration, to do something to help himself, to help you all, and to get your other siblings and relatives out of jail. Tell us what your plan is in this regard.
Yeah, well, it's hard for me to leave Toronto, leave my two little boys there, and they were terrified that I would go and never come back. But I came here for a reason, and it's to advocate for my siblings and my husband to talk to the American government and make them aware of what's happening. To call on President Biden, who himself endured a lot of family trauma and understand how family loss means and pain means. We ask him to intervene and help us save and reunite our family.
Again, since we knew we were interviewing you, we have been calling Saudi officials, both in the United States and elsewhere, to try to get a response. And unfortunately, we have not heard back at the time of our broadcasting, and we're not sure whether we will. So I'm going to read what they told our colleagues at 60 Minutes regarding your father. So the Saudi government said, Sa'd al-Jabri is a discredited former government official with a long history of fabricating and creating distractions to hide the financial crimes he committed, which amount to billions of dollars to furnish a lavish lifestyle for himself and his family. He has not denied his crimes. In fact, he implies that stealing was acceptable at the time, but it wasn't acceptable or legal then, and it isn't now. So Hisa al-Muzaini, they are determined that this is the reason, he's making these allegations against the kingdom, the reason he's fled, and this is the real story. And he was asked by 60 Minutes about his wealth. So tell me a little bit about that. How do you react to that Saudi statement?
Well, I know that my dad is innocent from whatever they're accusing him. I'm a proud daughter. And what I know is that the method that they are taking by involving family members, kidnapping, torturing, prisoning, is not the right way that governments should act. That's what I know.
So why do you think Canada, which is the country that's given you exile and given you asylum there, there's dueling lawsuits, as you know. Your father filed a lawsuit in Washington alleging the assassination squad traveled from Saudi to Canada to try to kill him just days after Jamal Khashoggi, our colleague, was murdered and dismembered. Saudi state-owned companies have now sued in Canada your father, claiming, that he stole nearly $500,000 from the counterterrorism budget. And we understand that the Canadian judge has said, quote, there's overwhelming evidence of fraud and they've frozen your father's assets. What is going on in the legal sphere here? How do you respond to that?
Well, my dad denied all the allegations and the lawsuit is still ongoing. So we would know when this ends. At the end, we'll know.
Say that again?
I mean, the lawsuit is still an ongoing process. I'm not a lawyer to comment on that. What I know is my dad denied all the allegations.
In the meantime, are you getting protection? Are you being protected by, private security, Canadian security, because of all of this? And do you fear that your father or any of you could become victims? He said categorically to 60 Minutes that he could become the next Khashoggi, that MBS would not rest until he's silenced, and that he is prepared for one day the assassin's bullet or whatever reaching him.
Yes, we live in fear. We always look off our shoulders. We don't feel safe. I don't know how we can't feel safe, and people like this are chasing family members and sending hit squads and killing people in embassies and consulates. So of course we don't feel safe. We've been targeted. I personally also have been lowered to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. They tried to to encourage me to go there. And I'm lucky that I didn't go, or else my kids wouldn't have a mom and a dad. So yes, we feel unsafe, and we will only feel safe when MBS has been prevented from doing what he's doing.
You know, what you just said is pretty shocking. We don't have any independent way of corroborating that. We don't know that you've been lured to any Saudi installation. But what you say is chilling, and we've seen what happened, as I said, to our colleague Jamal Khashoggi.